Coming up on the Suze Orman Show. A Suze Intervention with a woman who is struggling with a financial betrayal. Do you feel that you're as raw today as you were 3 years ago?
Unfortunately, yes.
You're doing to yourself what she did to you with the store. And you ask me, can I afford it?
I want to spend $4,500 on liposuction.
Is that your hip? I got that problem too. Hi everybody, I'm Suze Orman and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the financial situations that you may find yourself in that you absolutely hate. You know, things happen to every single one of us. But here is the problem. We also have a tendency of blaming others for while we are in a financial situation that we don't want to be in. And as long as you consider yourself a victim, as if others have done something to you, you are not grounded in your power, in the strength that it will take for you literally to get out of the situation that you are in. And you are going to see this so clearly in my Suze Intervention that we are going to go to right now. I received an email recently from a woman named Michelle desperately looking to get help for her friend Carla. Carla has been struggling for years now after a personal and business betrayal. She had worked at a retail store for 20 years. She believed that she was a partner in the store with her dear friend. And now the business is gone, the friend is gone, and Carla was left with $40,000 of personal credit card debt. Michelle, you and Carla have been friends since childhood. In fact, there you are in 1977. Look at the two of you. Anyway, can you tell everyone what happened with Carla and why you brought her to me for a Suze Intervention?
I wrote into the show because the night before I had to sit down with Carla, as I've had several others in the past, about her situation. I've been telling her for several years that I think she should declare bankruptcy to get herself out of this situation, and her personal pride has been, I think, preventing her from doing so. As you said, Suze, Carla ran an upscale boutique in Nyack, New York for over 20 years. The owner was a close family friend, an older woman who Carla completely trusted, and Carla was responsible for the day-to-day running of the store. Over the years, because the true owner had poor credit, Carla bought a lot of inventory for the store on her personal credit cards. When the store started to suffer in the economic downturn in 2010, her relationship with the owner suffered, and one day Carla came to work and found herself locked out. Carla was left with, I think, about $40,000 of debt. At this time, American Express has a judgment against her and a lien on her savings account, which is $10,000 or $11,000. And she has a mountain of debt and no job at this time.
Carla, you've been sitting there. You've been listening to Michelle tell this story. Tell me about it, not what happened, but tell me about the emotions that after you were locked out that day, because it seems to me from what I just heard from Michelle, is that since that lockout, since that betrayal, you haven't been able to get a grip on your life because the hurt was so deep. Is that true?
Yes, Suze, it's been very emotional for me because this person was very close to me, probably one of the closest people to me, and I would have done anything for her, and I did. And when she needed money, she told me I would be a partner with her. And I didn't hesitate because I trusted her, I loved her, we had the business a very long time. And it's, I don't know how to explain it, but I should have known better, but because she was so close to me, I did it without anything in writing.
All right, but Carla, that was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Do you feel that you're as raw today as you were 3 years ago?
Unfortunately, yes.
And do you talk to this woman? Do you have anything to do with her whatsoever?
No, the day she told me that she was not paying the business's bills any longer and that I should file bankruptcy, I have not spoken to her since that day.
And is that by your choice or by hers?
She has not contacted me, and I have not contacted her.
All right, because here's the problem, what we really have going on here. I get that you're emotionally distraught. I get that big time. But you literally sabotaging your own life, locking yourself out of being a vital participant in your own life. You're doing to yourself what she did to you with the store. You have put a lock on your heart, a lock on your ability to get a job, a lock on everything. So literally, you are emotionally bankrupt at this moment in time. Does that make sense?
I completely agree with you, Susie. I think one of the reasons why I haven't been able to really find employment that's right for me is that I have a lot of emotional baggage I'm carrying around with me.
But as you're looking in the mirror, financially speaking, here's what's being reflected back to you. You're in a situation where you're on unemployment, and there will come a day when unemployment goes away. You're also in a situation where the only reason that you are able to be on time with your payments is because you're living with your boyfriend who is making the payments for you, is making it possible for you to stay in the shelter of your own home, but not look at the reality of what's really going on. You're currently $600 a month short of what you really need to pay your half of the bills. So the person that is really, really suffering with this isn't the woman that hurt you. She's probably okay. Who knows what she's doing? She's got to live with that herself. But you didn't do anything wrong. But yet, you're punishing yourself. You're punishing your boyfriend. You're punishing your friends because they're seeing you suffer. And yet you're choosing to make all these people who really are there for you right now, you're choosing to make them suffer simply because you are dwelling in the past. Do you see that?
I agree with you, Susie. I definitely see that. I'm still mad, and I don't know how to explain it, but I think about her every day, and I'm still very upset and very mad.
All right, so here's what I would suggest to you. Two things you have to understand. Number one, anger is the main internal obstacle to wealth. And so the way that you get over emotions is by taking action. If you're afraid to do something, another emotion that's an obstacle to wealth. Shame, another obstacle to wealth. Seems to me you have all three of the main internal obstacles to wealth firing at you all at once. Now, I get that all of your friends, especially Michelle, have been saying, oh, just claim bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. Just claim bankruptcy and get rid of this debt, get rid of that debt. It's not your debt anyway, and just go on with your life. When you hear that about claiming bankruptcy, why is it that you do not want to do that?
Susie, I know it's hard to believe, but I have never paid a bill late in my entire life.
Let me correct you on that. Let me correct you on that. If it weren't for your boyfriend, right now, you would be paying every bill late. You wouldn't have the money to pay any bill. You would have lost your home by now. So you are living under this facade that Carla has never been late with a bill. And the reason Carla has never been late with a bill is you, just like your old friend, is going to somebody else to get the money from that person to pay your bills. Do you see that?
No, because if he didn't move in with me to help me pay the bills, I might have gotten a little more aggressive with finding a job because that's how I am. You know, I would not have been unemployed as long. I definitely don't think that's the
But
case.
Carla, let's look at this realistically. If something happened to your boyfriend today, not that you're not together, he's sick. Happened to you a year or so ago. He's sick. He can't work. He's in an accident. Who knows what can happen? Anything can happen at any moment in time. Now you're in a situation where he's not putting any money in. Do you really think that you wouldn't be late with bills? Because you
Nope.
don't. Nope. You still
Not
think.
my own personal bills. I would do whatever it took.
All right. Then let's play reality here that something could happen to him and you need to make a decision right here with all of us tonight that you are going to do anything and everything it takes to pay your own bills now. Because really, you aren't bringing in enough money to pay your own bills. You aren't.
Right.
But the most important thing that I can tell you tonight isn't about how you deal with this debt. It's how do you deal with yourself? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to do worse to yourself than what this friend did to you.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Susie.
All right, so stop using this woman as an excuse for not being who you are meant to be. Stop using this woman as an excuse for not getting a job, for not truthfully paying 100% of your own bills, for not being the strong, vital woman that you were meant to be. It was 3 years ago, girlfriend.
I know.
3 years ago.
But I can pay my bills, Susie. I just can't pay the business's bills.
Forget the business.
She kept the inventory.
Yeah.
She kept everything. Even though we were supposed to be 50-50 partners, she kept everything and promised to pay the bills. I can pay my own bills. I can't pay her bills.
Are you sure that you can pay your own bills if something happens to your boyfriend? Can you, if your boyfriend stopped giving you 1 penny, can you, Carla, pay your own bills?
Yes, I can.
Not according to the paperwork.
Well, I'd probably have to cash out my IRA and do some finagling, but I would find some way.
All right,
I would get a job really quick.
All right, then.
Doing anything.
Then get a job really quickly right now. You might, with some of this money, believe it or not, want to go see a therapist to help you through, because you are not, in my opinion, dealing with this still. You weren't able to go there. And this hurt is so deep that I really think you need professional help to get over it. Because until you get over this, there is no financial solution to your problems. How many times do I have to say, don't wait until something happens to learn about your money? And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to take my nephew to the Super Bowl in New Jersey and New York in 2014.
Let me get this straight. Is it $8,000 just for 2 tickets?
It could be $4,000 a ticket. It could be $8,000 a ticket. The initial estimate right now is $8,000 for both tickets.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. We are going to Ohio, and we have Bill on the air.
Recently, I just lost my job.
Yeah.
And my wife, she works. She probably makes about $65 a year. But we have, what you don't want to hear would be about $50,000 in almost credit card debts.
Yeah.
And I have approximately, I'd say, $57 in my 401k.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking out my 401k and paying off my credit cards. That way, because we were just barely making it on 2 salaries, if I did that, we could make it on 1 salary, and when I got back to work, we could put back to get a retirement going again.
All right, Bill, how old are you?
I am 43. My wife is 39.
All right, now let me ask you this: if you owe $50,000 in credit card debt, correct?
Approximately, yes.
Right. You have $57,000 in a retirement account, such as a 401k, correct?
That's correct.
All right. How much do you think, if you withdraw all $57,000, that you're going to have left to pay off credit card debt with?
No, I'm going to lose like 20% right off the bat.
So 20%, so you're going to have to pay a 10% federal penalty. You're coming to me from Ohio, so you'll pay a little bit of a state tax penalty as well. So let's just say immediately $5,700 comes off the top. All right, so now that leaves you $51,000. Then that is going to be added to the $65,000 that your wife is bringing in to make it so that you're making $115,000 so far this year, which means that a good 25 or possibly 30% could come off. You're not going to be able to pay off your credit card debt.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What about negotiating with these credit card companies? Would it be able...
that is not what you want to do. If you have to, you are far better off. Remember, any money that you have in a retirement account is protected against bankruptcy. So if you have money and you really can't afford to pay these payments, bankruptcy is more of an option, I have to tell you, than to do what? Than to take money out of a retirement account to pay this back. That makes absolutely no sense. So you just lost your job. Just calm down with what you're going to do with this credit card debt. But the last thing that I want you to do is to take money from a retirement account such as a 401k and do what? Pay off credit card debt. That is just simply wrong. Let's go to Katie in New Jersey. You are on the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
So my boyfriend and I are considering buying a house together. I have great credit, but no money saved for a down payment. He has money saved, but he doesn't have credit after his divorce. I've been pre-approved for either an FHA loan or a conventional loan by myself, but what's the best way to go about handling this?
Well, here's the thing. If you can get a loan by yourself, just on your credit, okay, but here's what's so strange. How did they pre-approve you for a loan when you don't have any down payment money? How did that happen?
That I don't know.
All right, so just be careful here, because I see this happening all over again. Money is now freer. They're starting to lend, and all of you are so afraid that you're going to miss these low interest rates that literally you're buying homes when you can't afford it. How long has he been your boyfriend?
About 3.5 years.
3.5 years, and do you know that you're going to stay together?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely. So here's the risk. If you go into this together, where you use him on the loan to qualify, they're going to take his FICO scores with yours, and you're probably going to pay a higher interest rate. If you can do this on your own, and somebody's willing to give you a loan, even though you don't have any money to put down, you're better off doing it just by yourself. Let's go to Ann in Ohio. What's up?
Hi, Susie. My husband just recently passed away, and I have 2 small children. I work part-time, earning about $40,000 a year, but I'm about to receive almost $940,000 in life insurance, a 401k, and pensions. I'm really lost at what to do with all this money. My husband handled all the finances, and it's all new to me. Where do I even start?
All right, so let's start here. First of all, saying I'm so sorry that that's happened to you. And,
Thank you.
Everybody listening to this right now, how many times do I have to say, don't wait until something happens to learn about your money? Because when you're an emotional wreck, that is not the time to be making decisions about something you've never made decisions about before. So, Ann, how old are you?
I'm 47.
47. And do you own a home?
Yes.
Yes. And do you have a mortgage on that home?
I do.
And is this a home that you want to stay in?
Yes, for sure.
And how much of a mortgage do you still have on that home?
It's modest, $195.
All right, so here's the first thing I would do, believe it or not, regardless of the interest rate that it's at. I would take $195,000. Now, did I hear this right? You're getting $940,000 of an insurance policy, plus besides that, you have IRAs and things like that, or is that everything together?
That's everything together.
How much do you have in terms of an insurance policy?
It's about $850,000.
All right, so the majority of this is a tax-free benefit to you from this insurance company. So I would take about $195,000 and I would pay off the mortgage on my home. Period. Now, when I say that to you, knowing now that you will own your house outright and that no matter what happens, you and the kids will be okay, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's secure.
Secure. That's the answer I was looking for, because when you're in this most vulnerable and insecure time of your life, and you don't want to have to do anything other than things that will make you feel safe, sound, and secure. So now you still have $650,000 left to do something with. Do you have any credit card debt? Do you have any other debt or things that you owe money on?
No credit card debt. We're actually in good shape there.
How about car loan debt?
No, our cars are paid for.
All right. And how would it make you feel if you took, let's just say, another $200,000? How many kids do you have?
I have two.
Two, and you put $100,000 into two different 529 plans for the benefit of your children to be able to go to college later on in life.
Well, it would be a good thing.
Good thing. So now that's what I would do. How old are the kids?
10 and 11.
All right, 10 and 11. So maybe you want to put just $100,000 each, and they should be fine. Now that leaves us $450,000. Does the income, the $40,000 a year that you're making, is that enough money without a mortgage now, no debt, not having to save for your kids' college education? Is that enough for you to live on?
Well, it is, because we're also receiving Social Security.
All right. So then what you want is you want to structure a $450,000 investment portfolio to either generate income for you if you find you need it, or for it to grow for your future. But you are taken care of financially speaking. But last but not least, to tell you the truth, you have to make sure that you have a living revocable trust, that you have everything in order, because if God forbid something happened to you, your kids are still minors, so they can't get money directly. So you want their money to go into a trust if something happens to you. Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I've got a bucket list, and a 20-day trip to China is on it. It would cost about $10,000, and I want to travel before I can get too old.
Yeah, I can relate to that one. Also,
I'll be a junior in college, and I want to study abroad in Sweden.
Just between you and me, you got a boyfriend that's going over there? Anything else like that?
No, but, if I find one when I'm there, I wouldn't mind that.
What do you want to buy?
20-day trip to China.
Study abroad in Sweden.
Take my nephew to the Super Bowl.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in. You tell me what you want to buy. I ask you a few questions, and then I tell you if you can afford it or not. Ready? Let's go. Jane, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I've got a bucket list, and a 20-day trip to China is on it. It would cost about $10,000, and I want to travel before I can get too old.
I can relate to that one. I've been on that wall, and it's really an exciting thing to see, but $10,000 for 20 days, show me the money.
Okay, here we go. My combined monthly income is $3,761 a month. That includes Social Security, some rent, and dividends.
Great.
My expenses are $2,241 a month. I have no debt.
Good.
I own my home outright.
Love it.
In savings, I have $124,000 liquid, $807,000 in investments, and $219,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I thought I'd just pay cash for it.
At 60 years of age, girlfriend, you are going to China. You're approved.
Oh,
yes, you're doing great, by the way. Morgan, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to spend $4,500 on liposuction. I've always been self-conscious about my body, and I want to be beautiful and confident. This is one way for me to feel gorgeous in my own skin.
All right. I got to tell you, right there where I'm seeing that picture, is that your hip? I got that problem, too. Anyway, girlfriend, show me the money.
My $6,000 a month. My expenses are $970 a month, and I live rent-free. I have an $11,000 car loan and an $8,500 student loan that's deferred. And in savings, I have $18,000 liquid and $4,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
Out of my liquid savings.
Yeah, so you are denied.
No.
I know. Let me just tell you why. You're still young. You're 23 years of age, but you have $8,500 of a deferred student loan. And that will just grow and grow and grow. And as bad as the little fat on your little hips may make you feel, nothing is going to make you feel worse than to see that loan continue to grow and you not paying it because you don't have the money to do so. So you can do this in a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, but you've got to deal with your student loan. First, Alan, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie, it's Alan. I want to buy a solar power system with a battery backup. It's $20K, and it will save on electric bill and for emerging power and good for the environment. And it's a 30% tax break at the end of the year.
So $20,000, but it will give you $6,000 of a tax credit at the end of the year?
Correct.
So then it's really only like $14,000, but show me the money.
$10K in take-home pay per month, $4,179 a month in expenses.
Yeah.
$150K in mortgage, 15 fixed, $85K in student loans at a 3.1%, and savings I have $127 liquid, $33K in investments, and in retirement have $481K in.
And you are an old 34-year-old. I was going to say you're a 31-year-old, but you're 34. Alan, I have to tell you, you're also a rich 34-year-old. You are approved boyfriend. Ruth, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. So I'll be a junior in college this coming up semester, and I want to study abroad in Sweden. So my student loans will pay for my tuition and room and board, but I want to see if I can afford $3,200 in spending money.
Why Sweden?
Well, I'm a poli-sci major, so when I'm over there, I'm going to be studying how the Swedish government and public policy practices, so that's what I'll be working on.
And just between you and me, you got a boyfriend that's going over there? Anything else like that?
No, but, if I find one when I'm there, I wouldn't mind that.
All right, because they're cute there. Girlfriend, show me the money.
Okay, well, this is where it gets interesting. As a college student, I don't really make that much money. I write for the student paper, so my take-home a month is $20. I have no expenses, though, and I live rent-free. The only debt I have so far is a student loan at 6.8 interest of $3,296.
Yep.
And I have liquid savings of $2,700.
Well, here's what's confusing. How are you going to pay for this?
Well, I'm going to use $2,000 that I made over summer from my summer job.
Yeah.
And the rest is from savings. So I'll have a total of like $4,700.
And so you're going to use all of that to go overseas, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, guess what? Yeah, what were you going to say, but what?
But the cool thing, though, is the way this works is it's an exchange program. So the tuition, my college is actually partnering with another American college, and I'll actually be paying that other American college's tuition and fees and room and board, which is actually $3,000 cheaper than what I would normally be paying at a regular semester. So the $3,000 spending money actually kind of like makes up for that.
Yeah, but you still need money to do this, and you're 19 years of age, and you are approved.
Really?
Now, really, let me tell you why, because everybody out there in America right now is going, what? Listen, you are 19 years of age and you want to go overseas to go to school. So you have to look at this as if it's student loans. It's nobody in college has money. If you were 23, 25, you would have been so denied so fast I can't even tell you. But given that this is a school, you can go overseas, you eventually come up with what you have here anyway. I think you should go for it. If there's any time to go for it, now is the time. Dave, what do you want to buy?
Hey, Susie, I want to take my nephew to the Super Bowl in New Jersey and New York in 2014. Both my nephew and I love football. He's a really good kid. I'd love to be able to take him there at Giant Stadium or Home Stadium next year. The $8,000 is the initial estimate, but it could change on what teams end up going. Go Giants.
So let me get this straight. Is it $8,000 just for 2 tickets, so it's $4,000 a ticket?
It could be $4,000 a ticket. It could be $8,000 a ticket. The estimate, the initial estimate right now is $8,000 for both tickets.
And you really think your nephew, how old is he?
He'll be 17 this year.
17. He's going to go to college. He's going to get student loans. He's going to whatever. Don't you think that $8,000 would be better off at being applied to his university and you staying home and watch it versus $8,000 to sit in the stands? Show me the money.
All right, take home pay, $4,500 a month. Expenses are about $2,018, and that includes $649 a month for rent. I have no debt, and in savings, I have $60,000 liquid, $66,000 in investments, and $19,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I'm thinking on tapping into my savings.
Oh, you're thinking about that. You're going to work 2 full months to go to 1 game, correct?
That would be about.
That would be about it. Denied. You have got to grow up. You are 40 years of age. You have $19,000 in retirement. No way, boyfriend. Oi, please, want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information you need to know there to come and play with us right here. Pass it to me, quarterback. All right, far cheaper to stay at home. And if you do, guess what? We're going to send you a T-shirt. Depending on my answer, you'll get an approved one or a denied one. You can only do that if you come on the show. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Suze.
Considering the amount of my loans, I decided to take advantage of the 10-year public sector loan forgiveness program.
For you, the best thing you can do is pay as little as you possibly can. Welcome back, everybody. Take a look around. Now, where do you think I am? Oh, yes, this is where the magic happens, in the control room right here at CNBC. So many ways for you to reach me. Please take a look at your screen. You can send in an email. You can join me on Facebook. Or if you send in a tweet and put hashtag Ask Suze, it comes right to us here. And if we choose it, you will be on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. At Veely 168, where should 8-month emergency fund be parked? CD, saving account, money market, mutual fund. Veely, the answer to that is all of the above that you just wrote, except for a mutual fund. An emergency fund is money that you need to get to at an emergency, and you don't want to have to take a loss with that money. So if you put it into a mutual fund, and now that mutual fund invests in the stock market, and the stock market goes down, 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 at the same time you need that money, you're going to have to withdraw it, and you'll have less to withdraw and lose money. So keep it at a place where it is safe, liquid, and makes you the highest interest rate possible. Let's see what else is trending. At QPC Dub, how do I refinance a house for better rate while unemployed? Currently at 6.25%. Well, my friend, I'm assuming that you are single. You're not married where somebody else is earning money, so you could do it that way. If you are unemployed, I'm so sorry to tell you, you are stuck at this point in time. So the best advice that I could give you is this. Can you just really try to find a job? I'm sure you're already doing that now, but really find a job where money starts coming in and then refinance. I think interest rates you'll find will stay low here for quite a bit of time. Let's go to webcam all the way to California. Alyssa, what's your question?
Hi, Suze. It's great to speak with you. My question is regarding student loans. I just graduated with my master's degree, and I have a considerable amount of student loans, $80,000. Luckily, they're all federal. I don't have any private. And considering the amount of my loans, I decided to take advantage of the 10-year public sector loan forgiveness program. And I'm employed in a local school district. I didn't work very much last year because I was in school. And so I'm on an income-based repayment, and my payment is extremely low. My question for you is, should I, A, make the lower payments and put the rest in savings right now, or should I, B, make a larger payment to at least try to make a dent in the principal of my loan, even though...
All right, so let me just answer this for you. One of the great things about the loan forgiveness program when working in the public sector is that after 10 years, regardless of how much money you still owe on these loans, they're totally forgiven and they are not taxable to you. If you weren't in the public sector, then whatever you owed that you hadn't paid for at that time, even if those loans had been forgiven, you'd owe income tax on it. Big, big danger. But for you, the best thing you can do is pay as little as you possibly can, save and possibly invest the rest, and just be happy and serve those that you're serving with great, great pride. All right, everybody, let's go back to the studio. Here's what's coming up next. Brenda wants to know, Susie.
How am I doing? I recently was given a substantial raise that's become a game changer.
You know, all of us, when we start to make more money, we spend more. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 46 and single. I've always felt I did the right thing with my finances, but knew there was room for improvement. I recently was given a substantial raise that's become a game changer. My goal is to retire at 62 with my home paid off, and I really want to travel around the world, play golf in exotic places, and simply enjoy my retirement. Susie, how am I doing?
Brenda, girlfriend, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, great, Susie. I'm so happy to be talking with you. I love your show. I love all your books, and I appreciate your advice immensely.
Oh, thank you. Now, let's do this because you want to retire in a little bit here. So
I do.
If you were going to give yourself a grade, assuming nothing happens, everything stays exactly like it is right now, would you be able to retire in 16 years from today? What grade would you give yourself?
I would give myself a B.
A B. All right. Let's see what I would give you. Everybody, let's take a look at Brenda's numbers. Brenda is 46 years of age. She is single. She has in her retirement accounts $365,000. She has an emergency fund of $14,000, investments of $12,000, $352,000 invested in real estate. $300,000 of that is for your primary residency. $52,000 of that is for a piece of land. She has mortgage debt of $201,000. So here she is at the age of 46 with a net worth of $542,000. Anything surprise you there, girlfriend?
Not at all.
All right, let's show everybody your income versus your expenses. So your monthly take-home income currently now, given your substantial raise, and congratulations on that, by the way, is now $9,466. Your monthly expenses are $4,543. You're saving $1,700 a month, and you now still have an excess almost $5,000 per month. So if I were going to give you a grade, I would be giving you a B+, because you're really doing just great. Because if you keep doing, like I said, everything like you're doing right now, do you know that in 16 years, at the age of 62, I've projected that you're going to need about $5,000 a month to live on. If you keep doing everything, you are going to have after-tax income of $9,400 a month. So you're even at $4,000 a month in excess many years from now. But here is your way to an A. First of all, The key to this plan is to just keep living like you are living. You know, all of us, when we start to make more money, we spend more. If you can just keep living like you're living, maybe spending a little bit more on here and there, but just essentially keep your expenses where they are, that's going to be key to the outcome of what you have going on here. Next, I need you to start really funding your emergency account, your emergency fund, up to the 8 months, which would be $40,000, and you should be able to do that very, very quickly. After your emergency fund is funded, then I want you to take the amount of money you were putting into your emergency fund, the extra money, and I do want you to start dollar cost averaging that into the stock market. Next, you have this home, and you're probably going to want to stay in this home. I'd like to see you refinance this home right here and right now to a 10-year fixed. That way you're going to own the house out really in a short period of time. Your interest rate will be very low, and that will get you on the path of being absolutely secure. You need a living revocable trust. You need long-term care insurance, and that's something that you should look into almost immediately. When you do get older, you're not going to need Social Security, so wait until you are 70 to take it. And really, you should just enjoy your life so much by the time you retire, I can't even tell you. So, girlfriend, play as much golf as you want after you have retired. Coming up next, one more thing I want you to know. Carla isn't happy. Yeah, her bills are being paid, but look at her. Did you see her? Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Well, that's almost a wrap for us here on the Suze Orman Show. But before we go, there's still one more thing I want you to know. We started tonight's show with a Suze Intervention with Carla. And Carla is a woman who does feel like she was financially and emotionally betrayed by somebody she loved very much, and that happened 3 years ago. And ever since that time, Carla has not been able to stand on her own 2 feet, to be able to pay her bills, to be able to do anything without the help of somebody else. So she has her boyfriend move in, and he's helping her do everything. And yet, she refuses to recognize that without the help of her boyfriend, that she wouldn't be making it on her own. If your boyfriend stopped giving you 1 penny, can you, Carla, pay your own bills?
Yes, I can.
Not according to the paperwork. So because he's helping her, it keeps her from having to dig deep inside to make her life work. So I want all of you to think about, when you are helping somebody financially speaking, are you keeping them from having to do it on their own and be truly happy? Because Carla isn't happy. Yeah, her bills are being paid. But look at her. Did you see her? She's not happy at all. And in my opinion, it would be far better for him not to pay the bills, not to help her, so she can become the woman she was born to be. Just think, all of you should think about that. Now you know. So until next week, there's only one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it's this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe.